So anyway, welcome to this community. It's such a blessing to see each and every one of you out here and all of you out on Zoom. We're so fortunate to be having the electronics to be able to broadcast our Sunday services. And each Sunday, it seems like we're getting better and better as we go forward in our new ways of being here at Unity of Beaverton. So last month, well, first of all, I speak the first Sunday of every month. And the reason I chose to do that is to follow along the unity principles that's been put forth to us by Charles Fillmore, because we're a unity church, and also open up the other Sundays for other types of messages. So last month, I talked about the power of strength. And I also explained that strength isn't just about physical strength or the ability to control. The principle of strength is so much more beautiful and genuinely powerful than that. It involves the ability to stand strong in our truth, even in the face of challenges. It is a part of what enables us to be kind, even when we're being treated unkindly, and is to act lovingly, even when we're in challenging situations. That strength is that strength that you just kind of find that calmness to stand in your own strength because it's divinely guided for you. You don't have to get all fretting. You don't have to control. Spiritual strength includes the ability to know who and what you are and what your value is without needing validation from friends, family, lovers, society itself. When you really step into who you are in your authentic strength, you don't worry about that validation because you know it feels right for you, right? It's not always easy. We have that tendency to kind of want to compare ourselves. But when you realize that that person you're comparing yourself is just as concerned about comparing themselves to you. So then go ahead and look at each other and honor the divine spirit that resides within each other. And when we do that, you do find your authentic strength. And spiritualized strength is the power to stand in your own spiritual truth. And we know sometimes it's not always easy to practice those principles of standing in your truth. But you also know that when you do, you feel this tremendous sense of peace around you. It just comes over you. So to have strength, you must also have the faith and a power that's greater than you. And it's not just only for your good that you believe that there is excuse me, let me stop that again. It's to have faith and a power that's greater than you that only wants your good. However, it's not just your good that's trying to happen. It's the good for everyone being involved. Well, surrounding certain challenges with love is not always easy when you're in the middle of chaos. And I'm going to share a little bit about what I've been going through with the passing of my husband in October, and also about not being prepared. I would nag and nag and nag and want having to get a will. We didn't get it done. And so with what happened, somebody has stepped in and wanting to try to control everything of our life and our dreams that we had built for years. Talk about wanting to win out. Having somebody to control my life after I've been controlling it for so many years and managing the farm. It was scary. I was angry. I was resentful. And I had to remember that the only way that I would have strength to go through this is to surround this situation with love. Well, I can feel God's love for me. Took me a little bit to find love around the challenging parts of the situation. But the more I practiced just honoring and loving that spiritual being, all of a sudden I wasn't waking up in the middle of the night with all those things going on in my head that you want to go on when you're in a challenging moment. And I felt at peace. And what I know is as I received that peace, it woke up another part of me, and it's about the divine wisdom that we all can tap into. And I know that there are no accidents at all. As a minister, and I've been a minister since 1994, I was always, I had a co-minister with me, Beaver Partlow, and we'd always laugh. Are you sure you want to pick that title? Because you know you're going to get to experience it. And I'll tell you, that is what's happened since 94 for me, because her and I both had the mission statement to walk you talk as a teacher of truth. So I would not be standing up here if I did not try to apply these principles to my life almost every day. There are times that I'm going to tell you, and I don't let anybody ever tell you they totally arrived, because it's a constant practice of remembering who your spiritual essence is. Okay, and we all kind of have to be reminded. So I've got these wonderful reminders right now because I was given the power of strength to talk about. And now this month, it's wisdom. And how do you get into that idea of wisdom? How do we access these powers? You know, every day we get caught up in our everyday living. Do we remember to meditate? How do we do this? You know, what I know is that to get to that place of wisdom, you have to have faith and you have to have love. Faith that there is that power greater than you. It's infinite. That power swirls all around you and flows through you. It is only up to each and every one of us to listen, to open up, to hear that guidance. And one way that I know that it happens is through our intuition. How many people listen to their intuition or even get it? Where do you feel that intuition? Typically, it's a gut experience. Sometimes it's in your heart. But when Fillmore described wisdom, he was saying that that seats in the mid, right there in your solar plexus. So that's why you'll hear people say from time to time, there it's a gut instinct. I listen to my intuition. Speaking of intuition, I've got to share a funny story with you. And that is, I really do try to pay attention to it and watch those subtle nuances that go on. Well, about 5 days ago, I decided that I was going to go get a permit. Yeah, and I got tired of having this extremely straight hair that I had to curl all the time to make myself feel better. So I decided I was going to go get a perm. Well, when I've gotten perms in the past, I've always said, well, I want the gray and white rods because I wanted a nice loose curl. But however, I want it to last longer. So what do you suggest? And the gal says, well, I think you need the gray and pink ones. And the pink ones are like real little. I looked at those and I said, man, I don't want to go looking out like a poodle. Anyway, but all was done. I said, okay, something just said go along with it. Don't fight it. Just see what it does. You know, this is what you need. Because I know that when you do step into that intuition, it actually gives you what you need versus what you think you need at times. So I did. I said, go ahead. Lo and behold, I felt like a poodle when I was done. The great thing about it is it actually works for my greater good because it's a lot easier to take care of right now. So I can learn to live with it. So that's just a subtle, simple way of just listening to your intuition. There was another time several years ago, and I had a teenage daughter that was coming down from the mountains from a ski trip that was put on by her high school. And my husband at the time said, I'm gonna go pick up Amber, you wanna go with me? And I said, well, you know, she's not gonna be there on time. He goes, what are you talking about? They're gonna have it, the bus is gonna be there with the kids, they're gonna be there. And I said, no, something hit me. I said, there's gonna be a delay. I said, there's gonna be a delay. I think the bus had a flat tire, and they're all standing outside that bus waiting to get fixed. So it's gonna be about 45 minutes late. I didn't know where that was coming from, but it just was a flash. It was a flash of a jack sitting by a bus and all these kids there. I knew the kids were all okay. He goes, well, I'm gonna go anyway because they said they'd be there at this time. I said, okay, I'll go with you because you're gonna be sitting a while. Lo and behold, guess what? The bus was 45 minutes late and they did have a flat and there was a jack. So what I find is when I don't get wrapped up into my everyday living, my everyday just being, and just listen, the universe supports me. It will support you easily and effortlessly. We're the ones that just get in the way. Think about that. I wanted to read an excerpt from Brian Carley and what he does when he describes wisdom. Wisdom comes from spirit. It's the true voice of God. When we listen to the small, still voice of spirit, we listen to the wisdom of God. It is our own inner sense of being that is in tune with the divine. It is our higher sense of being connected with the great I am. When we rely on the inner wisdom of spirit, we are in touch with the heartbeat of God. The divine guides us and leads us to a place where we're meant to be. We're not here alone. We walk by faith, not by sight. Every step is measured. When we align ourselves with the wisdom of the sacred energy of life, we have jumped into the flow of the universe. Everything works the way it's meant to work. We are the partners with the divine. That still small voice of spirit is our intuition talking. When we listen and spiritually discern it, tuning into our higher self with the divine inside of us, it's like magic. By constantly listening to this intuitive wisdom and on acting on what we hear, we become a lightning rod for divine inspiration. By acting on what we hear, have the faith. Through divine wisdom, we hear the voice of God. And when you doubt, fear not. You are created in the image of God. Do we sometimes forget that? Sometimes we kind of tell ourselves, oh, man, it's like that. But remember, anytime you put yourself down, you're putting the divine that resides within you down. So learn to honor yourself. Learn to know and appreciate the divine that lives within. So through this connection, you manifest the kingdom of God on earth. You are mighty, you are great, and you are the manifestation of the wisdom of God. So take a moment, just imagine, and hear the affirmation, I am connected with the source of wisdom. Can you repeat that with me? I am connected with the source of wisdom. Okay, sometimes we don't know how to discern our intuition and our ego voice. So I'm going to give you a little trick or an idea that I use. That voice comes across so subtly at times, I almost miss it. It doesn't really have emotion, it just is. It might be a sense, it might be a picture in my mind, but it's real subtle and it's giving me the information. The ego part of us is the part of us that has kept us safe in our humanness. It's the part of us that's developed belief systems that kept us safe in our human existence. And so when we start to listen to this inner guidance that may not go along with what the ego's done to protect us because it's developed these belief systems that you gotta be cautious and whatever it is, it starts to get a little frantic. And it's gonna say, no, 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 you gotta do this, do this. Disregard it. Disregard it. Thank it. Because the ego part of you has kept you safe in your aliveness all these years. And it will be. It will. The ego part is the one that told us when we put our hand on the oven and it was hot, don't put your hand on the oven again, it's gonna burn. That reminded us. That's what the ego does. It's not talking about, oh, I got a big ego and I think I'm cool. It's that little part in us that wants to take care of us. So it's honoring and embracing both parts of us. We talked quite a bit before I got to that. So what I know, as I'm sharing this with you, is the only way that we are going to be able to tap into that wisdom is to have the faith and go within. Because that's where we're being connected to our divine, infinite power. And sometimes I have challenges speaking about God. Okay, and I'm going to say that I use the term God because that's what I'm connected to when I think of the divine, infinite spirit. I also know that there are people that are challenged when I use the word God. And so therefore I try to go and say, okay, what else can I use? Source, great spirit. And what it boils down for me, it's the divine energy that expands. And so I don't want to offend people when I use God, but that is my God. That's how I see my God. And I really don't think God cares how you get there as long as you get there. Don't you think? To have that sense of peace within yourself and understand it and know it. So, wisdom is the highest form of our spiritual knowing. It includes divine judgment, discrimination, intuition, and other activities of mind that come under the heading of pure knowing. It's not a deep, dependent on reasoning, intellectual understanding, or deduction. It simply shines as the light from within illumines the way and reveals whatever needs to be shown at a particular time. When you start to listen to the voice, and when you start to become aware of how the universal energy, God, wants to support you, you will recognize it happening more and more in your life. It's amazing. And this is what I'm finding out by practicing to pay attention. Pay attention to where I'm holding my strength. Pay attention to where I'm getting my wisdom. And each and every day I'm delighted because I feel the guidance. I shared the story before, but it was just so amazing because I really do feel like I'm in the flow. Even like when I'm in traffic and I want to get to the church on time, all of a sudden all the green lights are showing up for me. Thank you, God. Great. I was down in Corvallis. I had taken my mother to go get a infusion that lasted for 3 hours at the oncology building. And I usually dropped her off, ran my errands, and then I would hurry to pick her up on time. Okay, well, I went and decided that I was going to drop a bunch of cans off at the can place, shut the car off, and when I went to start it again, it wouldn't start. And I went, oh no, what am I gonna do? I've gotta go get my mother. She's 92 years old. She could be waiting on me. And that, and I thought, okay, well, what do? I called my service, my insurance company, because I have roadside service. And you do it all on the phone now. You don't even get to talk to a person. So anyway, I'm getting on the phone and I'm asking for a jump. I think my battery just needs a jump. And they say, well, it's gonna be about an hour, but we'll get out to you. Okay. So I'm done and I'm standing there for a few minutes, and I would say like 6 minutes later, I get a call. Are you the one that wants to jump? Yes, because I'll be there in 5 minutes. Wow. So he gets there, he looks at my battery, and goes, how old is this battery? I don't know, I bought the car in 2012, and I haven't changed it since. It's amazing you've gotten this far. He goes, you're not gonna probably start this again after I started this time. Okay, well, just a block away was an AutoZone. And I was able to find out my car wouldn't start, get it jumped, get to AutoZone, and 28 minutes only passed. Now that was a miracle. And that's what I'm talking about is when you get into the flow and start looking for the good to come in your life, it comes. It comes. And so I invite you to look for the good that's happening in your life. And if you're having a challenge right now, surrounded in love, surrounded in light, because there is absolutely no single good. God, Infinite Spirit, wants the good for all. And it does make that journey a challenge a lot easier. So I'd like to now turn to meditation. And I would like you to get comfortable in your chairs. Know that those chairs are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're supporting you so you can relax. And as I pause and turn within, I feel the divine wisdom flowing through me, energizing and renewing all areas of my life. This is my guidance system, my spiritual compass. I apply this inner wisdom to the decisions I make, the words I choose, and the ideas and beliefs I hold in my mind. And as I hold these ideas in my mind, I gently relax. And I allow myself to take a nice cleansing breath in. And as I release this breath, I release anything that's beyond this moment. So I can truly be aware of this very moment. It's time to relax. It's time to know who I truly am by going within. You can relax now. Come on and open your eyes. Breathe deeply now. I am breathing. Of my sweet, sweet child. Who do you think you are? You are the child of God, and that will never change. You had a dream. You are eternity, and that will never change. You had a dream, you misunderstood. You thought we were separate, but now you hear my voice and you can listen. Come on and open your eyes, breathe deeply now. I am with you. You are the love of my life. You are my one creation. You are eternity, and I will never change. And in this place is your inner sanctuary. I want you to bring forth to your mind possibly a challenge that you're facing right now. And allow the emotions to come up. We're not to deny the emotions. God gave us those emotions as a gift. So allow the emotions to come up around that challenge and think about it, whatever that is. Just give your time with it a moment. And now, set aside for one moment those emotions and open your heart to listen to the divine guidance that is yours for the taking, for the acknowledgement. What is Spirit telling you? Even if it sounds way out there, allow it to come into your beingness. Because there are no hard miracles for God. There are no problems that can't be handled with the love and guidance that God's wisdom gives to us. We can trust in this divine guidance and wisdom because the guidance and wisdoms join with our goals and desires to illuminate the clearest path forward. And we are blessed to have this core of wisdom for decision making. Because of that, our steps are in order and our thoughts rise to new heights. Centered in spirit, our decisions are made with direction and confidence. We are clearly and purposefully guided to that which is mine to do. So we're allowed to walk our life freely